Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's A Better Way Thursday workshop. We're so glad to have you here with us. And we've got a super fun topic today. We're doing this just in time for the new year as we're looking forward and how we want our lives to be exciting and new and different here in 2024. I'm super excited to have Latonya Howell today. Latonya and I met a couple months ago at an event at the Utah Business Forward event. We were just sitting at the same table, and I asked her to tell me her story, and it was a really interesting story. She's had a lot of amazing experiences, um, and I'm super excited to have her teach us today about creating a vision board and envisioning the future that we want for ourselves. Latonya, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and just dive right in. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Robin. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm super excited to present on this topic that I just think is so crucial and important, especially for women. As stated, my name is Latonya Howell. I work at a software development company called Tafi, where I am the Vice President of Human Resources. HR is my passion, helping others, helping women, helping people feel comfortable and included in the workplace. That's what I'm all about. So, yeah, I'm excited. I will share my screen and kind of dive into what I want to discuss with everyone today. So, what I want to talk about is manifesting your future. I'm going to um, hopefully inspire everyone as we enter into the new year to really think about what it is you want to accomplish, give you some actual tangible tools and resources on how I've done that in my life and how you can do the same in your life. So I'll just kind of dive right in. All right, so manifesting, depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of different definitions of it and thought processes about it. But essentially, what it is bringing something into existence and aligning your thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and actions, turning all of those things into whatever it is that you want to have happen. So you align your mindset, you align your emotions, and you align your actions. And that's what we're going to talk about doing. So before we get into this, I like to talk about my story a little bit. And there's a reason why I go into this. But here you'll see, so this lovely lady here, this is my grandma, Violet Osborne. Violet she originally was from Alton, Illinois, which is where I'm from. She had a total of 6 children, including my mom here and her twin, I should say, my Aunt Karen. So my mom and my Aunt Karen, were raised in Illinois. Both unfortunately fell into drug addiction, and my mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia at a very young age. As a result of that, I went into foster care as the youngest sibling of my family. My oldest sisters, they were able to stay with my grandmother, but because I'm the baby, it was deemed that she was too old to care for me, so I went into foster care. This young, handsome man right here is my father. His name is Leon Phillips. My father died in 1993. He was shot and killed in California and did not know that I existed at that time. So, also another reason why I ended up into the foster care system. After being in foster care for a number of years, I found out that I had a biological brother who was adopted by a family here in Utah when he was a baby. He's an older brother. So I got in contact with him and ended up moving to Utah. This young gentleman right here is my biological brother. These are my adoptive siblings that I inherited once I was adopted into this family. From there, I got married at a fairly young age, probably too young. I had this beautiful baby girl named Desiree. Unfortunately, in January of 2011, Desiree passed away as a result of sudden infant death syndrome. And then here we are now. I'm remarried. I've inherited this lovely stepson of mine who is now five going on 16. And now I have kind of enveloped into the woman that I am today, starting my own business, really interacting with and getting to know people in the workforce. But I share all of this because I don't have an ideal story. I think a lot of the times when you talk about manifestation, when you talk about, what we are able to accomplish, we create in our minds these boxes of how you have to be in order to fit into these situations. I don't come from any of those ideal situations. And so that's why I like to share kind of my backstory. It's also just to state that how your life begins, or even where you are now, it doesn't have to determine your future. If you can desire it, you can obtain it. So I think as women in particular, we have kind of we tend to focus on where we came from and use that as the basis of where we can go in our lives. I am living proof that it doesn't matter. If you have a desire for it, you can obtain it. And let's talk about what that looks like, shall we? All right, so this is my personal manifestation story. This was the vision board I created in January of 2022. Couple of things I want to point out on this board. My 2022 goals. So purchase a home, publish a book, have financial freedom, and career development. Um, at this point in my journey, when I wrote these goals down, I was nowhere in a position to purchase a home, had no down payment saved up, very much living check to check, which was the financial freedom part. In terms of publishing a book, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I had, random bits and pieces written in various journals, things of that nature, no real plan. And in terms of career development, I worked for a company where my boss, who I joined the company hoping that she could be an intern, a mentor for me, um, was actually very negative and hateful and spiteful towards me. So when I wrote these goals, none of them seemed like they were tangible, right? I was nowhere near accomplishing any of them. But I said, you know what? I'm going to write them down and I'm going to go forward. So I put all kind of motivational things here to help me. And then the affirmations, that's the other part I want to highlight. Affirmations are a big part of manifestation, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But these were the things that I wrote in January of 2022 when I wrote these goals that were seemingly out of wits' end, if you will.
Latonya, can I ask you a really quick question?
Yes,
So,
please.
so as you mentioned, these are super bold goals, right? Like any one of these at a time, especially as you mentioned, you weren't really close, right, on any of these, would feel really daunting. What was your mindset as you were saying, I'm not just going to make little small goals, right? I'm not just going to say, oh, I'm going to try to increase this by 5% or 10%, which I'm kind of that way. Like I'm a little bit more cautious by nature. What was your mindset when you said, not only am I going to make really bold goals, but I'm going to make several of them? Tell me a little bit about your thought process as you went through that.
I just thought that came up in a situation where I had so many limited beliefs placed on me. My whole life, people told me, you can't do this. You have to live like this. You're never going to accomplish this because of how you grew up. All these different things. And I just said, I believe in myself. I believe in what I'm capable of accomplishing. I'm going to go for it. And if I don't reach it, my mindset was, at least I tried. At least I can say that I gave it my all. And if I don't reach it, I'm going to try again the next year. So, um, and also this quote, this is one of my favorite quotes, but this was very much my mindset as well. If your dreams don't scare you, they're too small for you. Dream bigger. So our dreams should scare us. Our dreams should push us out of our comfort zones. Our dreams should seem impossible to reach because that's how we know we're growing. That's how we know we're developing. We have to push ourselves. So
I love it. That's beautiful. And the thing that you just mentioned about how people were always naysaying you and like you can't accomplish this because of this, that is so powerful for so many of our women. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about your background and your story at the beginning. I think it's really easy when we see someone like you. You've got a really high powered job. You're a really successful executive. You've achieved so much success. And we're going to talk about a little bit more with these writing a book and different things like that. But I think it's so easy for us to look at someone and say, well, I could never do that because of this background that I had, because I didn't have the supportive environment, because I didn't have people cheering for me. And I just think it's so powerful for you to say, do you know what? Regardless of where you come from, you can achieve great things because look at me, I've done it. I love that. Thank you so much.
yeah, of course. I mean, there's honestly, I'm a regular person. There's nothing amazing or outstanding about me other than I just dare to dream. That's really the only difference. So, okay, so this was the result of my vision board for 2022 in my manifestation journey. So March of 2022, just 3 months after um, writing my vision board, I received a job offer, my current job offer that I'm in now, where I became an executive in the HR field, and working for an amazing company that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. May of the same year, my husband and I closed on our first home. For me and my family, I became the first homeowner in about 5 generations. So I get emotional every time I talk about that because it was such a huge accomplishment for me. And again, nothing in my background said that I would be capable of doing it. So, and then December of 2022, I published my first book, which was a story about my life called The Trauma Was Necessary. So these were the results of my manifestation.
Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And that story about you being the first one in so many generations of your family. We know that so much of the world that we live in is rigged in a certain way, right? That people who
Yeah.
have everything that's lined up for them, they're going to continue on, and those that don't have those benefits that they were born with or whatever are not going to have opportunities. And there are a lot of things in this system. I mean, I'm sure this was just about as hard as anything could be, right? So many barriers to overcome, and yet you did it.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you. So I want to talk about the details of manifesting because, yes, I did the vision board, but I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I had a lot of mindset things and blocks that I had to deal with internally in order to make these things happen. So the steps that I used to manifest, first and foremost, a mindset shift, and I'm going to talk about each of these in greater detail. Affirmations. I shared with you the affirmations I wrote on my vision board, but also, my spiritual beliefs or the law of attraction, whatever it is you believe in, whatever it is that is your guiding principle in your life, the attitude of gratitude, and then last but not least, of course, that vision board. So mindset, Gandhi said, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. It all starts with the thoughts of what we think about ourselves, the things that we tell ourselves. Those things come into fruition, good or bad. And so it's very important that we take our thoughts captive. We control our thoughts. A negative thought comes in, which is going to happen for all of us. It's important that we recognize that as a negative thought and then refill that thought, if you will. Remove that negative thought, refill your mind with something positive to help you move past that. And for me, that's where affirmations came into place. So for me, it was controlling my negative thoughts by replacing them with positive thoughts. These are a few of my favorite affirmations. I wake up motivated. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I'm worthy and deserving of everything I desire. I'm not defined by my past. I'm driven by my future. Through the power of my thoughts and words, incredible transformations are happening in me and within my life right now. I am constantly growing and evolving into a better person. I am grateful for everything I have in my life. I am inspiring people through my work. Prosperity flows to and through me. I will succeed by attracting people who can help me. And I'm grateful for the abundance that I have and the abundance that's on its way. And so, very much
So
like in this, oh, go ahead,
can I
Robin.
ask you, did you write these yourself? Did you find them somewhere? Like, how did you choose these affirmations?
I Googled affirmations and I picked the affirmations that I felt like were most applicable to me and what I wanted to accomplish in alignment with my visions for the year or for that season of my life, whatever you would have it. So and very much like this picture here, which is from one of my favorite shows, I put sticky notes. I have sticky notes all over my bathroom mirror, and they have my affirmations. So as I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm looking at these affirmations and I'm constantly filling my head with positive thoughts, which leaves a whole lot less room for the negative thoughts because it's easy, especially when you're trying to do something new and you're trying to do something scary, you're going to have the thoughts of, oh, I don't qualify for this. Those imposter syndrome thoughts, right? No one wants to hear me talk about this. No one cares about what I have to say. I'm not important. But intentionally filling your mind with those positive thoughts or those affirmations, that's how you combat those negative thoughts,
Wonderful. Thank you.
of course. And then, of course, there's your belief system. The law of attraction just says that we attract whatever we want in our life by aligning our thoughts and emotions with our desires. For me, I identify as Christian, so my life verses come from the Bible. Others, they may come from quotes. You may have, someone you admire who has said something, and you use that quote. That becomes your life statement, your life verse, whatever the case might be. But that's a huge part of manifesting, is relying on whatever that belief system is to get you through what you're hoping to accomplish.
Latonya, can I ask you a question about the law of attraction
Yes.
and the verses that you brought in? I think there's an interesting like tension here between a couple of things, and I wonder what your thoughts are about this, because part of this power that you believe in manifesting is like I have the power to make this possible, right? Like I
Mhm.
can make this happen. Those affirmations were very much like this is what I am, this is what I am. And then these other things, the law of attraction seems to be things outside of us,
Mm.
right? So
Yep.
so how do we manage the tension between I'm responsible, I'm accountable, in the end I am doing this, but also there's something bigger than me at work? Like how do you bring those two things together? Such an interesting concept to me.
Yeah, I think what kind of ties those together is another phrase, karma, a statement, right? What I put out there is what I receive. So if I want to be these things, then I also have to do these things, right? And so I think that that kind of bridges the gap between my accountability, but then also just understanding again, um, in my culture, spiritual beliefs are the backbone, a huge backbone of what my culture believes in and represents. So it's tying in what's important to me, which for some people that may not be spiritual beliefs, but it's tying in what's important to me and what I value into what I'm hoping to desire and accomplish.
I love it. And so that really describes the interaction between
Mhm.
our actions and what we receive. What we send out, the universe will send back to us. And whether or not we have a spiritual belief,
Yeah.
there certainly are consequences with the people that we meet, with the work that we're doing, that those things will come back to us. Thank you so much for explaining that a little more deeply.
Yeah, no problem. And then an attitude of gratitude. So I have a gratitude journal that I write in every single day. And this kind of ties in with the law of attraction. If I'm constantly thinking about and reflecting on the things that I am grateful for, it puts a little less emphasis on all the things that are wrong in my life, right? Because at any given time, we all have things that are less desirable that we're dealing with, stressors. But what I focus on is what grows in my life. So if I focus on gratitude, um, that opens me up to receive more, is my take on that. So we attract whatever we want in life by aligning our thoughts and emotions with our desires. So highly recommend a gratitude journal, even if it's just your phone and you're just putting in and reflecting on the things that you're grateful for, because the good things are present in your life and so are the negative things. And it's up to us what we choose to focus on. And then last but not least, vision board. So the vision board basically takes all of these concepts that we've discussed and makes it tangible, right? It helps you take your dreams from your mind and put them into reality. They make your dreams visible and real. So this is the perfect time of year to do a vision board and to incorporate all the other things that we've talked about. I hold an annual vision board party with my friends. So we get together, we have food, we hang out, and we make vision boards and we talk about what we want to accomplish personally, professionally. As women, we juggle so many different things in our lives, and it can be so easy to get distracted or to fall off course. And so, vision boards just help to keep us focused and to make sure that we're prioritizing what's important to us in our lives. Um, so yeah. Oh, go ahead, Robin.
I was going to say, and maybe when we're done after this summary, I would love to go back to your vision board and dive into it a little more deeply, just to kind of work through the process. I've never made a vision board before. I know that it's a really popular thing, and I've never done it. So just after we do this, let's jump back there and talk about that in a little more depth.
Okay, will do. So just in summary to everything, manifestation starts with your thoughts. You control your thoughts, you control your life. The steps to manifesting are mindset shift, affirmations, your beliefs or law of attraction, attitude of gratitude, and then creating the vision board. So, my encouragement to everyone is go and manifest your future. Figure out what you want, figure out how you're going to do it, and believe it. Believe that you can accomplish it.
Oh, this is so awesome. Okay, I've got a bunch of questions, so I'm super excited for us to follow up on some of these things and talk a little bit more in depth. So walk me through this vision board. I know that it's kind of personal, so thank you for sharing it with
Yeah.
us. And first of all, like, how did you determine what you wanted to put on there? How did you decide how to put it together? And then I'll ask you some advice, like tips that you have for women who maybe want to create their own vision board.
Yeah. So, ideally, a vision board is going to include what your goals are. I really hate saying New Year's resolutions because I think that that just limits you to just it only being at the new year, right? Whereas a goal is all the time, ever present. So it's whatever you decide you want to accomplish, and it's kind of the path of how you're going to make those things happen for you. So I have a lot of random stickers on here, but those random stickers spoke to me at that time, and they spoke to the things that I wanted to accomplish. So I'm the girl who decided to go for it. I knew at the time that what I was writing down was not realistic from a everyday person standpoint. I was not in a position for any of those things to happen. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Still I Rise, Phenomenal Woman. That's who I wanted to embody as a person. Um, and, career, business, all these things, all these stickers had a certain value to me.
Where do
I
you
think
get these awesome stickers? I must not
so.
hang out in places where you buy stickers because I never see ones this cool.
So I'll tell you, this vision board came. I got this in a kit. I subscribed to like this monthly uh, Black girl empowerment box that comes to my
Oh
door every
yeah.
month. And so this particular vision board came that way to me. However, on Amazon, you can literally buy pre-made vision boards. You can buy vision board kits. You can buy vision board stickers. The old school way of doing it is, especially in my younger years when I had all those magazine subscriptions, you read the magazine and then you don't do anything with it. I would save them for my vision board and then I would cut out images or whatever from those magazines as my vision board. So there's a number of ways to do it, but there are kits out there that you can buy that take all of the guesswork out. If you're not super artsy fartsy, you need like guidance and templates. Amazon has everything. My 5-year-old will tell you, like, if you ask him where's the store you buy everything, he'll say Amazon.
Amazon. So you've been doing vision boards forever since you were a kid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I love it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I
Um,
definitely remember cutting pictures out of magazines. And it was a vision board. I was just trying to think of something fun to do.
yes, yes. So, and then I think the most important part are the of this vision board, in my opinion, are the affirmations. I can't stress enough how important it is to control our thoughts and to fight against the negative thoughts that come into our mind. And that's what affirmations help us to do. So I put on here, I'll focus on the things I can control. Today, I choose joy. When I wrote that, I was specifically thinking about the career development goal and the fact that I had this boss who was like so nasty to me and like negative. And I just thought, okay, I can't control her behavior. I can't control, you know, why she has an attitude. I'm just going to focus on the things I can control and I'm going to choose joy regardless. So,
So coming when you this is a question that I wrote down earlier in your presentation. That changing your mindset and changing your beliefs, I think is really the key to everything, right? It's
mhm.
so hard. And I would love to talk about that a little bit more, just on I think doing the affirmations and filling your mind with the positive beliefs to crowd out the negative beliefs is so powerful. um And I would love to hear any other ideas that you have. I remember, I know a lot of people like go to therapy to learn how, like that's what we do in therapy, right? Is to figure out how to change our mindsets and
Yeah.
our limiting beliefs and our false beliefs. I know that we have a tendency to tell ourselves lies all the time. I remember a conversation that I had with my therapist once, and she was telling me there are only three things that you could control. And the first one was your thoughts. And I was
Mhm.
like, I can't control my thoughts. Like, I thought that was so crazy that she was telling me I could control my thoughts. I think for so many of us, this is such a huge barrier. Any other ideas there on shifting that mindset and changing our thoughts and beliefs in addition to the affirmations, or maybe that's the key?
Yeah, well, I want to say that it is a choice. It is a day to day, hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute choice. And it's not something where you just wake up one day and you go, you know what? From now on, I'm just going to think positive all the time. Nope. We're human, we have emotions, we deal with things that come up, but it's a choice. In my book, I talk about a lot of the challenging life experiences that I had, one of which being losing a child, probably the most difficult thing anyone can ever experience. And that was not something where you just wake up one day and you go, I'm going to see the positive in this. It was literally seeing myself visually at a crossroads, right? And I'm like, okay, I can choose to be really negative and to be angry and to be upset, or I can choose to just kind of take this for what it is and do my best to keep moving forward. But it was a choice. And it's the same thing with our thought processes. We can choose to focus on those negative thoughts and let them burrow. Um, or we can choose to do our best to try to see past them. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I have been in therapy most of my life as a child and as an adult. And um, I highly recommend that even if you don't think anything's wrong with you, even if you haven't had huge traumatic experiences like losing a child, that you do that, you get involved in therapy just because it is so applicable for helping you to shift your mindset.
That I love that idea that it's a choice and it's a choice that you have to make second by second, right?
Yeah.
That was so powerful because I think it's so easy to get into this idea like, okay, just like you said, New Year's resolutions. Today I'm changing my life. By a week later, this happens every year at the gym, right? We come to the gym the
Yeah.
first week of January, everybody's there. Third week of January, parking lot's not quite so full, right? And I think it's so easy to say, oh, I thought I was going to change everything and I failed, right? I'm having these negative thoughts. I'm not achieving my goals. I'm not doing this. And then to say, well, in the next second, I'm going to decide again. I love that idea. I was talking to a woman a couple of weeks ago, and I was trying to help her work through some pretty big challenges in her career. And every single recommendation I made, she told me why it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? And I think it's easy to fall into that trap of always focusing on the problems and beating away every single possible solution. So I love this idea to choose the positive again, over and over and over again, and recognize it's important to recognize the barriers that we have. We can't pretend that those things don't exist, but instead of using them as an excuse to say, this is why I cannot change my life, to say, this is a barrier I'm facing. How am I going to get over it? How am I going to get past it? And I love these affirmations, choosing every day, even every second, to
Mhm.
say, in this moment, I'm going to choose to move forward. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got another I was writing down questions as you were moving along because I didn't want to interrupt too much. I know I jumped in a bunch of times. So going along with what I just mentioned, when obviously every day we're not going to succeed, right? Every day is not going to be 100% win. How do we forgive ourselves when we have days where we fall short and we backtrack, or we're not really getting ourselves closer toward achieving these goals?
One of the most beautiful things about life is you go to bed one day, you wake up, it's a new day. And so if you take that approach with life, yeah, okay, today maybe I was negative. Maybe I had negative thoughts. I just had a bad day. Maybe, my depression kicked in really strong on this particular day and I didn't do well. Acknowledging that and then recommitting to do better the next day, right? There's nothing wrong with resetting yourself up for the same goal over and over again. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, I failed today. That's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to try again tomorrow. Um, there's something powerful about doing that when it comes to your mind, right? And acknowledging like today was not what I wanted it to be. I have a new chance tomorrow. So,
I love it. That's beautiful. It reminds me of that quote from Anna Green Gables, one of my favorite quotes that every day is fresh with no mistakes in it or something like that. And I know that women sometimes have a perfectionist thing, so maybe we don't want to focus on the mistakes versus not the mistakes, but the idea that every single morning you wake up, it's a brand new day. That's such a beautiful idea. I love that. So kind of to wrap things up, to tie things up, I've got lots of women in my community who'll be watching this webinar, this discussion that we're having today, and every single one of them has come to Tech Moms with the goal of changing her life in a substantial way. And so, do you have any final? You've given us so many great tools today and a great roadmap for manifesting. I have to tell you, I loved hearing you talk about manifestation in this way because I have thought of it as magic. You know what I mean? Like my daughter's like, I'm writing this down on a piece. My daughter seriously manifested us a truck. It was really weird. And I'm like, are you a witch? Like, what happened here? She wrote it down and then she folded up the paper and we thought someone else was going to buy the truck. And then we were able to buy this truck. And I'm like, this is
wow.
so weird. What's going on? And I mean, as part of, I want to respect everybody's beliefs and all the different ways that manifestation can happen. But you've given us a very tangible, concrete roadmap that's not magic,
Mm-mm.
right? It's beliefs, it's alignment. It's I can you give me your definition again? You were bringing things into alignment. Your emotions, your behaviors. What is it again?
Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, all into alignment.
I love it. I love it. So what advice do you have? Just a final parting advice to our women to say, this year I'm facing something new. I have a lot of challenges and roadblocks, but I know that I want my life to be different. What advice would you give them as they were trying to get themselves motivated to get started on that?
If you can dream it, you can do it. If it's there, I believe that our dreams and our thoughts and everything that is positive that comes into our life has a purpose. If you dream it, it's there for a reason. Just go after it and do it.
I love it. I love it so much. How do you recommend that we bring other people into this journey with us? You mentioned that you've had some naysayers in your life. I think all of us have. How do we maybe protect ourselves against the naysayers and their negativity, but also allow in maybe our champions and our cheerleaders who maybe can help us on this journey?
Yeah, I think you have to recognize and acknowledge, and more so be okay with the fact that not everybody um, will root for you in the way that you want them to. That's why it becomes so important to root for yourself and to believe in yourself strong enough that you don't have to pay attention to what some of the naysayers are saying. I know that that can be hard when it's close family members and close friends, but respect where they are. That doesn't have an impact on where you are. Respect that they may not be in a position where they can be that supportive person for you, and focus on the people who are there that can be supportive people for you. When things start coming into fruition and things start happening for you, they'll see the vision then. But if they don't see it right now, it's okay. Be okay with that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, those were my questions. If you've got anything else before we end today, this has been fantastic. You have made me super inspired. Like I wasn't going to make a vision board this year. I didn't necessarily have goals, but you've inspired me. I'm going to go put together some goals for myself this week and
I
see what
love it.
wonderful things I can manifest in my life this year.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate just being able to talk about it and to just put it out there. So,
I love it so much. Thank you. And I hope that our tech moms get a chance to meet you in person. We'd love to meet you at some networking events and maybe have you come back and speak at some of our cohorts. We've talked about that. This was wonderful today. And ooh, I just lost my mic. And as I said, your personal story, your professional story, like so amazing, so inspiring. And I'm so grateful for your willingness to share the things that you've learned with other people and help us as we are making our own journeys and growing along our own path. So thank you so much.
thank you,
Uh,
Robin.
Everybody, thanks for joining us today on today's Better Way Thursday workshop. We've got a lot more for you to learn from on the rest of our channel here on our YouTube channel. So please check out our other workshops, and we will see you next time. I'll go ahead and stop recording now. Where is it? Here we go. I found it.